Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are. Thanks for coming to the Rapstar Boxing Knowledge World. We appreciate you. If you come through and you come to my home, don't forget to smash that like button before you leave or while the show's going on. But hey, if you're new, don't forget to look at my other channel as well, UK 47 Boxing. And if you like them both, subscribe to the channel. Let's get ready to cook. Yeah, Conor Benn. Yeah, my boy Conor Benn from London, England, has definitely made a lot of noise in the last couple of years. Has got himself in the rankings, got himself to the path, and getting himself now within a situation where he could be ready for the big league. This is Conor Benn, whose dad, is a legendary fighter in my country, Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn has cemented his legacy as a two-time world champion and has surpassed a lot of people and expectations from most people who ever followed Nigel Benn's career. He was one of the most ferocious punchers ever in the history of the sport in the middleweight division. But Conor Benn never really had it easy. Trust me, he had to follow his dad's footsteps, whether he liked it or not. Sometimes your dad's such a famous boxer and is, such a legendary boxer. It's hard for Conor Benn to fill those shoes, but he's got himself into position. The kid hasn't got much of a great amateur career either. He hasn't had the amateur background like any of those fighters, like the Josh Kellys and most of these other fighters who've come up, like the Josh Warringtons and the Josh Taylors, who've had the most greatest amateur pedigrees. That's why some of these guys have achieving some of the greatness. And apart from Josh Kelly, what we saw a few weeks ago, that he had the greatest amateur background, but unfortunately, he lost, and he lost in a bad way because his style doesn't seem to be suiting him in the professional rankings right now. Now, look, we can come back to that on another show, but this is Conor Benn's day. This is Conor Benn's situation. Conor Benn is coming in for a great fight against Samuel Vargas. Samuel Vargas is now, I would consider, a gatekeeper. He was a good fighter. He still is a good fighter. But whenever he came up with an elite welterweight, like the Errol Spencers, the Danny Garcias, the Virgil Ortizes, they managed to stop him. He did give life and health to a lot of other fighters, like the Luis Calazos, the Amir Khans. He's given them some good performances, but he came short. So for me, Samuel Vargas is a great to have on your resume as a great gatekeeper for you to achieve bigger and better things. Is our boy Conor Benn ready for the big league? Now, Conor Benn, I believe, he's dealt with some demons already as he's been coming up in his career. Everybody remembers with Cedric Paynard, how Cedric Paynard was the first cat to ever drop Conor Benn and put him through adversity in a ring. And he came out of that and he did really well, and he knocked the guy down twice and he won that fight. And then he also rematched him and won comfortably. So he got rid of those early demons, from before. But Conor Benn does have raw power. He's a strong lad. We see the performance against Sebastian Formella. The same Sebastian Formella who's only lost against Sean Porter. He went all 12 rounds against Sean Porter, and Sean Porter catched him with a unanimous decision. Sean Porter couldn't stop Sebastian Formella, but also Conor Benn gave a great performance and a great account of himself in that performance with Sebastian Formella. So, Conor Benn's onto bigger and better things. But in this performance, he needs to make noise. I'm a fan of Conor Benn. I'm a big fan of his dad. His dad's a legendary fighter from where we come from. His dad's one of the reasons why rap stars in boxing. Nigel Benn is a guy that gave so much light to boxing in England that he made fans out of people which were even not in boxing when Nigel Benn was waving the flag for everyone and be the fighter that he was. But, and I've been following Conor for a long time, and this is his time. If he can put on a masterclass performance, a dominant performance against a Samuel Vargas, who hasn't only been stopped with only a few elites, the Errol Spencers, the Danny Garcias, the Virgil Ortizes, like I said, no one else has stopped him, and he's done really well in his career too. If Conor Benn stops this guy and puts a really dominant performance on this guy, this will put Conor Benn into position to fight for the big leagues. He can slowly get himself in position. He can go and fight the Velasquez's, the one, who beat just recently, who beat Josh Kelly. That's a great fight. Conor Benn against Velasquez. That would be a great step up for him to move in straight into fights with people like the Jarrett Boot Ennis's, the Virgil Ortiz's, the Lipineus. We've got great fights for Conor Benn if he can get through. April the 10th is Conor Benn, Samuel Vargas. Does Conor Benn get rid of the demons and puts on a masterful performance against Samuel Vargas? Time will tell. On that note, peace out to everyone. I'll catch you guys soon. Rapstar.